Hey everyone, welcome to HEPPY. In this video, we're going to walk through our property and show you what our persimmon trees look like. Right now is the last day of September, so we got fruit on the trees. We also got leaves, so you can see what shape they look like, our trees. Going to discuss a little bit about astringent, non-astringent, those kind of things. We're also going to look at native persimmon trees. We're going to look at males and females that we have growing here on this property and in the community. Persimmon trees are filled with bioactive molecules that are awesome for human health. A lot of different varieties of persimmon. Welcome to HEPPY.
Hey, wake The context is they are grown and you're talking about all your girls.
My girls are getting big. Our girls are getting big, my bad.
I'm proud of you.
Matsumoto, this is our favorite tree, and ironically it's the very first tree, I'm very certain, very first tree we ever planted. Had no idea that we're gonna do this exhibition garden, had no clue. Back in 2016, she had very poor growth first couple years. I just wasn't sure she's going to turn the corner. Just this year she came into her own. We're in 2021, developed more size. So much fruit was on one branch that the branch actually fell off. Now, fruiting was never quite an issue, but the relationship between the amount of fruit and the tree was normal, I think. The tree was not growing very well, and just we had a handful of fruit, but my Lord, were those fruit awesome. This is a non-astringent variety, which means like you'll, even if it's a little unripe, you can enjoy the fruit and not get that puckering action that you get from astringent fruit. She makes gigantic fruit. We're right now only at the very end of September, and Maria's gonna come on in and you're gonna get an idea already. It's the biggest fruit out here. This is about half the size of what the final fruit is gonna look like. Just wonderfully big ass fruit, just like candy. She has finally come into her own. We got size, she secured herself. First and favorite persimmon tree has turned the corner and she's doing awesome. So this girl is our Nikitas Gift. Nikitas Gift grows as far north as like zone 5, if I remember correctly. We're in zone 7. She's an American-Asian hybrid, but leans towards the Asian tendencies, and that is not to grow skyrocketing high like the American. She's a little shorter. That's a trait, an Asian trait, Asian persimmon trait. She just has these big, beautiful, glossy leaves, very well behaved. We purchased her and planted her in 2016, and you get kind of an idea of how tall she is. We plant our girls in big assholes of wonderful soil. They're very forgiving. They'll tolerate many different types of soil. I'm talking about persimmon, but despite that, we plant them in awesome soil. Nikitas Gift is astringent with seed, so it's astringent or non-astringent. That's a variety. Seedless is out there, and then there's non-seedless. So I believe she's astringent, which means the fruit needs to be soft before you eat it, with seed and self-fertile. Nikitas Gift, you can't go wrong with this tree. I love this tree. This is our Rosseyanka persimmon tree. Rosseyanka persimmon tree is like the Nikitas Gift in that it's a hybrid between American and an Asian persimmon. Unlike the Nikitas Gift, which has tendencies towards being like an Asian persimmon tree, this has tendencies towards the American persimmon tree, which means it's going to skyrocket into the sky. We have severed this guy twice over the years. I mean, she started off as a stick, just one little stick in 2017, a stick. And within 2 years, she was like 18 feet tall, easy. I'm gonna have Maria come on in. You're gonna see where we're severing the tree at the top. You see them cuts? See them cuts up there in the center of the tree? That's where we just lop her off to keep her from going up. And what we will need to do is train this plant to grow more as a canopy. We'll see how trainable she is. I know its reputation is to have fantastic fruit. This year, the first year since 2017, I'm going to be able to eat Rosseyanka fruit. So there's a few here, not very prolific fruiter. While Maria's filming, I'm seeing like 10. So you're looking at massive plant, massive pruning, and like if you had 10 acres of this, you'd be pruning all the time. Nikitas Gift and the Matsumoto wouldn't be pruning at all. Not literally, but almost no pruning. So I'm really becoming more biased towards the Asian persimmon trees. I really am. No disrespect to the American persimmon tree, but in terms of maintenance, there's no comparison. Maria's going to show you one more thing, and that is the suckers coming out of this plant, out of the Rosseyanka, and that has a lot to do with the rootstock, which may not have so much to do with the Rosseyanka, which is the part grafted onto the rootstock. We're a weed-friendly property, by the way. We don't kill ourselves over the weeds. But this is a sucker. This is a sucker. And these are the ones we just haven't pulled out yet. You have to look out, because I think these are oftentimes sold to people. See that right there? So I think someone will sell that to you. And what it is a sucker. And it's not the Rosseyanka. This is a sucker from the rootstock, which is something you could graft on top of. Never actually done this to plant it, but this would be kind of an interesting thing to plant and to practice grafting. Cut this and we could put Matsumoto on top of it, you know what I'm saying? But on Facebook, I've seen people refer to like they got this from a grower or something. I don't know how much they paid, but this is literally just being pulled out of the ground. I'm not too sure if the Rosseyanka has a lot to do with the rootstock, but heads up, if the rootstock is very rooty, you're gonna have a lot of suckers coming up in your lawn, and you can mow them down, no problem. One thing that sort of stands out here at HEPPY is that there's a shit ton of them. I would say I'm pulling up 5 now per year. It's 2021. She was planted in 16, 17, started growing in 17. So, I mean, she's still young, and we can pull these out all the time. This is a Fuyu Persimmon, and I think it's just kind of a standard stock persimmon tree. And I said that because it's purchased from Lowe's. I think it comes from Simpson Nurseries down in Tennessee, if I remember the label. Pretty much out of the box. I like and I advocate that you spend your money at the mom and pop nurseries, not the big box stores, but this tree must have been on sale. She was planted maybe in spring 2018. Nice growth. Again, the Asian characteristics is to not bolt high up into the air. Her fruit are basically the size of the Rosseyanka. She fruited right away. She was a quick fruiter. So I think we had a couple bits of fruit the following year. She's only been in the ground for 3 years, put in excellent soil. But if you were to buy a tree from a big box store, you're kind of, in my opinion, I think you're shooting into the wind a little bit, or watering into the wind, shooting into the wind. If it's a very general name like Fuyu. I think Fuyu means like a million different things in the world of persimmon. It means Asian, but then specific traits to the fruit is not as well understood or described as if you were to buy Nikitas Gift, Rosseyanka, or Matsumoto. This is our Texas persimmon, and I was really excited about getting the Texas persimmon because it's a full-blown oddball. They're native to, I think, only Texas and northern Mexico. That's Mexico, north of the border, Mexico, south of the border. I've had a lot of coffee. I'm gonna rate the zone situation down below, what zones it grows in. This is zone 7, and she's gonna do fantastic in zone 7. Now, she's a slow growing shrub, more than a tree. She's a shrub, and she has, when mature, smaller, dark purple or black fruit. That's what's different. I mean, this is just a different plant. It's a different persimmon in a big kind of a way. It grows as a shrub. The leaves are different than the American persimmon. The fruit is dark. We just purchased the Texas persimmon in November 2020, planted her right away in spring, and we've gotten good growth out of her, but again, she grows slowly. If a raccoon eats the fruit and the seed goes through that raccoon's digestive system, the raccoon poops it, and that's where you'll find little sprouting Texas persimmons, most likely coming out of raccoon poop. There's something about the scratching that goes on in the digestive system, something goes on, and it really improves germination. This is what they look like when they're really small. We bought a 1-gallon pot from, I forgot the gentleman's name. This is Natives of Texas. I'll have his name down below. And I mean, these were maybe that big. It grew like 1 inch this year. So I'll give you ideas. This is not a fast growing plant, and it really is a shrub. We got another persimmon to take a look at. This is our Kasandra persimmon, KC for short. We got this. There's something that Cliff England said about this tree that sold me on the spot. I swear it was a fresh graft with like that much of a bud out of it or something. I said, well, I gotta have that. Fuck it, you know, as small as it was. Set her free in 2021. She was in a pot for like 3 years. Can't believe it. Like, that's neglectful. And then the minute she was down here, this is how tall she was. And we set her in the soil, and now that's how tall she is. This is all this year's growth. The growth reminds me of the Nikitas Gift. It's just got exceptionally beautiful leaves. Not a hint of disease or any sort of fungus weird shit on its leaves. And I got this wonderful 3-branch thing going on with it. I'm loving it. So I'm gonna have a branch out here, a branch out there, a branch out there, and it's a real showy location. That's what's gonna be cool about this. I just love the beauty berry, man. You gotta check out the beauty berry. She's about ready. I'm digressing now because I love beauty berry. So you get a little beauty berry treat. Well, talk of Kasandra persimmon. Not the best location. The Kasandra persimmon's gonna be the anchor tree, getting us a nice visual to the street. So this is our Kasandra persimmon. We really look forward to the type of fruit she provides. She's tripled the growth once we got her out of the pot and into her ground. 2.5, maybe 3 foot of growth the first year we stuck her in our HEPPY soil. Let's take a look at our native trees. Native persimmon. cultivar persimmons come in a lot of different varieties. Fruit shape, fruit flavor, I don't know about fruit flavor so much. Astringent, non-astringent, that's really important. And some varieties are seedless. Trees grow very tall, 25 feet tall, and some varieties maybe cap out at 12 feet tall. You need to do a lot of research with persimmons and really get a hold of what is it that you want. At HEPPY, we recommend like low maintenance is good maintenance because that frees up your time. Seedless, how can you go wrong with seedless? But the seeds are not that intrusive. Non-astringent, well, that means you can pick it at just about any time. As long as it's starting to get a little soft, you're good to go, versus astringent when it has to be like water balloon soft. Fruit size, well, that's a little retarded. These are round, and then another variety, I think it's largely Asian, although she's Asian, so maybe I'm wrong. Acorn shape. I don't really care too much about the shape. Flavor-wise, I think persimmon tastes like candy. How does persimmon not taste like candy? But some candies are better than others, and let me tell you, there was nothing better than this Matsumoto. It did have a flavor profile and a texture, and being non-astringent, it really just stood out from the rest of our family trees. Do some research. Don't be sold on just one person's idea, and kind of think through what your mojo is like. Are you going to have just one or two trees and you don't mind maintaining them regularly? Well, then I guess you can do just about any tree. Or are you going to do something more larger scale and have a very busy schedule or something, and you just want fruit in the backyard for your kids and low maintenance? Well, then you're probably looking at Asian, and if it's the non-astringent type and seedless type, I mean, it just wouldn't get any better. I'm a big fan. Pawpaw, sweet scarlet gumi, figs are tasty. But let me tell you something, peaches, we had wonderful peaches this year, but persimmon is just such an outstanding fruit, and the texture is so good, and it is absolutely loaded with bioactive molecules that are just totally good for human health. You just can't go wrong with persimmon. Disease-free, pest-free, low maintenance. They do their own thing. Why have an English lawn? Why would you have an English lawn instead of a shit ton of a wonderful, tasty fruit? I don't get it. We're on board with that. I hope you're on board with that. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Even if you don't like the video, please hit the like button. Leave any comment you have. Right now I can answer any comments. Take care of yourself. Take care of someone else if you can. Love you. Take care. Bye.
Look at you talking about your persimmons, all the varieties.
Over here now, because I got the fruit right here. I got the fruit right here. Something up there. I don't see anything over there, so that's why I pulled you over here, okay?
Okay.
Fuyu.
You're on.
Now, about 2 years ago on Veterans Day, and about 2 years ago on Veterans Day, about 2 years ago on Veterans Day, we did a video, and by the way, thank you to the veterans. Thank you for your sacrifice. 2 years ago on 2019, we did a walkthrough through here. That was obviously November 11th.